This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
The Texans might have seen the Hall of Fame game against the Bears get cut short, but there's still plenty of things coming out of that game that we need to discuss with this Texans team. I've brought in an assistant. We'll go over some statements, and I'll tell you if they're true or if they're false. How about a little true or false Friday? Let's fire it up. True or false? John Mechie might not make this team at wide receiver. Is that me? Anyway, that's true. John Mechie has a tough time making this team going forward. It's not going to be easy if John Mechie plans on being the fifth or sixth wide receiver for this team. It hasn't looked as good in training camp as it probably needs to for John Mechie. And I would have told you going into the game yesterday, Xavier Hutchinson and Ben Skoranek at least were ahead of John Mechie. That's not to mention what Steven Sims brings to the table or Robert Woods. There's a variety of players battling for that fifth and sixth wide receiver spot on this Texans team. And I would have told you Mechie was behind a few of those guys. Then Xavier Hutchinson goes out there and does what he does, the leading receiver, 56 yards. Ben Skoranek has that really big play catching the ball after Davis Mills juked that one defensive lineman. He also has the behind the back catch in that one. Like Skoranek has been a really nice player. Plus he plays a whole heck of a lot of special teams. And then Mechie gets in the game, and what do we see? One catch and one drop. And I get the contact was kind of there, but watching it, I feel like Mechie probably should have caught that one. And Mechie's had some drops in training camp as well. It's not going to be easy if he's going to claw his way onto this roster, and that's where he is. There's still a lot of time left. They've still got weeks of training camp practice. They've still got 3 preseason games and a joint practice, which is almost kind of a preseason game. So there's plenty of time for John Mechie to make up ground. But today, if we were talking about it, we would think John Mechie not going to be on the team. I'd put Ben Skoranek over there, and I'd put Xavier Hutchinson over him as well. So it's true. John Mechie may have a tough time making this Texans team. In fact, he is going to have a tough time making this Texans team. Back to my assistant, which I guess is me. All right, this one's a little bit tougher. True or false, the offensive line is something CJ Stroud should be worried about this year? Oh, big fella, this one's false. CJ Stroud can't worry about this offensive line. I don't believe he should either. You saw 3 important pieces of that offensive line play in the Hall of Fame game last night. Juice Scruggs at center, Kenyon Green at left guard, and Blake Fisher at left tackle. If they played a game this week, that would be your left tackle, your left guard, and your center in that game if they played a regular season game. I know Laramie Tunsil's eventually going to be the left tackle, and so Blake Fisher's filling in for him while he's injured. That's even more reason why you shouldn't be worried about this offensive line. We haven't seen the Tunsil version of the offensive line. Don't freak out about anything that you see in training camp. Look, the Texans' defensive line is pretty nasty. So if they have a couple of good days against this offensive line, it's okay. You're not going against a lot of Texans level defensive lines. There's some really good defensive lines you're going to go against, but it's not every single week. And again, D'Amico Ryans talked about it. That cohesion is going to show up for the offensive line. It's going to come together, and they're going to be able to get things going. They have to be probably an average or slightly above average offensive line if the Texans want to go where they intend to go this season. And they could really go with being a top 10 offensive line to really calm a lot of fears. But worry? No, there's no worry about this offensive line. I like what I've seen out of Juice Scruggs so far. Kenyon Green looked good in game action last night. Blake Fisher is going to be a really nice backup once Laramie Tunsil returns at left tackle. And then Titus Howard and Shaq Mason, there's still a little bit of getting used to each other over there on the right side of this offensive line. But once you get the line as it's supposed to be in the regular season, and they play a little training camp together, they play or practice a little training camp together, play a little preseason together, and then joint practice with each other, that'll be just fine. Woo-saw on any worries about the offensive line. I think I know your answer on this one. True or false, BetUS is the best place to place all your wagers. Oh, this one's true. BetUS is the best. You see it right here. This video powered by my friends at BetUS. They got the fastest payouts in the industry. They've got an opportunity for you to wager on anything. They've got so many different things. Heck, they've even already got the Texans preseason game 2 odds up at BetUS. You just use my link in the description down below, and you're going to have the opportunity to go in there, get your wager on. You're going to get 125% sign up bonus up to $2,000 with your first deposit. Did I mention that it's fast and easy to deposit and withdraw after you win? 24/7 personalized service all year long. Check out the link in my description down below. And hey, if you're going to get in on Texans and Steelers, go ahead and get in there. The Texans, this line gets up to 3. You might want to go ahead and just jump in there. You can jump in there with my friends at BetUS. They're the best in the industry. We appreciate them powering this video, as you see at the top. And anything you might need to wager on, Olympics going on, you want to get in there on some of the swimming or anything like that, they can take care of you with that as well. Something for everybody at BetUS. All right, this one's maybe a little bit of an overreaction, but it comes from the heart, okay? It comes from the heart. True or false, Cam Akers is running back 3 for the Houston Texans? Let's pump the brakes a little bit on this one. This one's false. Look, Cam Akers had a really nice Hall of Fame game. Had the catch after Case Keenum corralled the bad snap and then hit him with the whoop, shout out Chris Berman, and had the big gain there, and then had the touchdown to finish off that drive. Couple of nice runs in that one, but he's still got some guys that he's got to go and beat out. He's got to go find himself ahead of. Look, Joe Mixon's going to be back. That's running back 1. Damian Pierce has the inside track to running back 2. Dare Agumbawale looked good in this game as well and has looked good in training camp. So that's running back number 3. And then you have Cam Akers and Jawar Jordan and British Brooks. And it felt like the Hall of Fame game, maybe there was a plan to just hand the second half to the rookies, British Brooks and Jawar Jordan. But the weather kind of ruined that plan. Oh, by the way, I didn't even mention J.J. Taylor, who you saw in the Hall of Fame game. He was running around, and I know he's a little bit short compared to some of the other running backs, but he has been getting a lot of opportunities in training camp, and he made the most of his opportunities in the Hall of Fame game last night as well. So Cam Akers would be a great story coming back from the Achilles injuries, plural, and making this team, but let's pump the brakes a little bit on Akers being the dude on this squad right now. Well, the RB3 dude on this squad right now. What's next, assistant? Finally, Davis Mills has done more than enough to be the backup quarterback for the Houston Texans. Oh, this one's absolutely true. Davis Mills was the backup for most of last year until they wanted him to start a football game for the Texans, and then they turned to Case Keenum. But you look at the two guys he's competing with for the backup opportunity, he's mentally ahead of Tim Boyle, and he's physically ahead of Case Keenum. Mills is the guy, and no, I wouldn't trade Davis Mills either. I wouldn't listen to offers on him. It's important to have a backup that A, knows your team, knows your system, and you can trust. That's A, B, and C, actually. But you get the point. It's important to have a guy like Davis Mills on the Houston Texans in case, knock on wood, we don't want it to happen, CJ Stroud has to miss, say, 2 weeks like he did last year. If Mills is the guy at backup, I feel a lot more confident than most teams would be when they turn to their backup quarterback. Just look what's happening out there in LA right now with Justin Herbert going down. Easton Stick is the backup. Yeah, Davis Mills is way better than a guy like Easton Stick. Okay, so don't just jettison Davis Mills for some draft pick, or don't just get rid of him because you like Case Keenum or Tim Boyle presents more, or you're worried about the money or this. He's a solid backup. He's one of the 10 best backups in football, more than likely. And you should keep him if you're the Texans, and you should absolutely make him the unquestioned, no doubt about it, backup this year for the Texans. I thought he was last year, and then they wanted to start Case Keenum, and it went okay. It went okay. They won the Tennessee game. They lost the Browns game. I don't know if Mills would have changed the outcome of the Browns game, but you get the point. Mills looks good. He's looked good in training camp. He's done everything the team has asked him to do, and he's ahead in some way, shape, or form ahead of the other two quarterbacks that he's competing for backup reps. I say A, yes, true. Davis Mills, the backup for this team. And don't trade him. Don't trade him. Don't, unless somebody blows you away with some awesome package. Then see you later and go sign another backup or make it be Keenum or whatever. But nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. Keep Davis Mills and keep him as the backup for this Texans team. And that's how we do True or False Friday. What'd you think? Let me know in the comment section down below. True or false on those statements that we put out there. John Mechie going to have some trouble making this team. CJ Stroud should be worried about the offensive line. BetUS, we know about them. They're the best. We know how you're going to answer that one. That one is true. Cam Akers, running back 3. And then Davis Mills is the for sure unquestioned backup for this team. Let me know in the comment section how you would answer those questions, true or false. Answer those statements, true or false. Appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please check out my friends at BetUS. You can already get in on the Texans game a week from today in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. You can already get in on that. My link in the description down below is where you can get signed up. 125% bonus match on that first deposit up to $2,000. You can't beat that. Fastest payouts, fastest deposits as well, and so many different things beyond football. You want to do a little baseball, Kikuchi making his debut for the Astros. Maybe you want to get in on that. Lots to do with my friends at BetUS. Appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I can't wait until we talk Texans again soon.